there are books that teach, and then there are books that watch you back. Long before modern horror learned how to whisper, scholars, priests, and inquisitors compiled a text that was never meant to be read for comfort. It was meant to catalog fear, to systematize the unseen, to give names to forces people were already dying for. What later generations would casually call an infernal dictionary began not as mythology, but as a weapon, one sharpened against heresy, dissent, and the fragile boundaries of belief. The accepted story tells us these books were harmless. Curiosities, folklore, intellectual exercises. But that story collapses the moment you ask a darker question. Why did so many of the names listed in these grim catalogs correspond to real trials? Real executions, real disappearances? And why were some entries revised, erased, or deliberately softened over time? The most infamous of these texts, the Dictionnaire Infernal, appeared in 1818 under Jacques Collin de Plancy, a man often described as a rational skeptic. Yet skepticism didn't stop him from meticulously detailing hierarchies of demons, their sigils, their personalities, their preferred methods of corruption. Later editions added illustrations, grotesque, vivid, unforgettable. These were not random inventions. Many names were drawn from earlier grimoires, medieval trial records, and confiscated manuscripts seized during inquisitions across Europe. Here's the first contradiction. If demons were imaginary, why did institutions dedicate centuries to refining their taxonomy? Why were certain demons associated with specific professions, lawyers, scholars, midwives, musicians? And why did accusations of demon contact so often align with social threats to authority? Because the Infernal Dictionary wasn't just about demons. It was about control. During the height of witch hunts, lists of demons served a dual purpose. They defined evil, and they defined who could be accused of serving it. A woman who healed without permission, a man who questioned doctrine, a community that preserved pre-Christian rituals. Each could be mapped onto an entry. Each could be explained away as infernal influence. The book gave legitimacy to terror, but buried deeper are stranger inconsistencies. Some demons appear only once in history, then vanish. Others change attributes depending on the political climate of the time. A demon associated with forbidden knowledge becomes more dangerous during periods of censorship. A spirit linked to rebellion suddenly gains military imagery during uprisings. Coincidence or adaptation? Occult scholars have long noted that many so-called demons bear striking resemblance to older pagan gods, stripped of reverence and rewritten as monsters. Baal, Astaroth, Asmodeus, once worshipped, later condemned. The dictionary didn't just record evil. It performed a ritual of erasure. It transformed belief systems into crimes. And then there are the names that were never meant to survive. Occult scholars have long noted that many so-called demons bear striking resemblance to older pagan gods, stripped of reverence and rewritten as monsters. Baal, Astaroth, Asmodeus, once worshipped, later condemned. The dictionary didn't just record evil. It performed a ritual of erasure. It transformed belief systems into crimes. And then there are the names that were never meant to survive. Marginal annotations in surviving copies. Reference entities crossed out in later editions. Beings described as too unstable, too persuasive, or unfit for illustration. What makes a demon unfit for depiction? What danger lies not in fear but in fascination? Psychologically, these books reveal something deeply unsettling. They externalized guilt. Human cruelty, desire, and ambition were projected outward, blamed on invisible agents. A murder wasn't rage, it was possession. Political violence wasn't greed, it was demonic counsel. The dictionary became a mirror that allowed society to avoid confronting itself. But mirrors can crack. Inquisition records show cases where accused individuals recited demon names with unsettling fluency, names not widely published at the time. Either these texts circulated far more widely than admitted, or knowledge itself was being criminalized. Reading became suspicious. Curiosity became evidence. The most disturbing mechanism wasn't belief. It was suggestion. Once a name existed, it could be invoked in testimony. Forced under torture, spread through rumor, the demon became real through repetition. The book didn't describe evil. It engineered it. And yet, centuries later, we still treat these texts as curios. Coffee table macabre. We admire the artwork. We detach the blood. But history remembers the cost. Entire villages depopulated. Intellectual traditions erased. Generations trained to fear their own thoughts. The Infernal Dictionary outlived the bodies it helped condemn. Here's the final unease. These books were never banned because they were false. They were restricted because they were powerful. Names shape perception. Catalogs shape reality. Once you define the enemy, you justify the hunt. So when you hear the phrase forgotten, demons, ask yourself what was truly forgotten. The entities or the human machinery that needed them to exist. Because the most persistent demon in history was never listed in any dictionary. It was the belief that evil must always come from somewhere else.